Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to discuss semi-final 2, give a bit of a preview of the songs and give my kind of predictions on what I think will happen. It's going to be very tricky as this semi-final is kind of wide open for a lot of the countries to qualify, and only a few I think are certains, and you can't really dismiss anybody if you look at the results from Tuesday night. So let's kick off with Australia, who are first in the running order. Now, the studio version of this song I was not very keen on at all, and I probably would have favoured it not to qualify, but having seen the video, we've only seen the small clips at the moment, so I haven't seen the full performance. I think it looks really fun, like crazy, and the stage just seems to come alive. I just don't really see how this one doesn't qualify. It's had a lot of streams, so it's been really quite popular in the lead up to the contest, which is always a good sign. And although like going into the final, I don't think it will perform that well because again, it's a song where the juries are not really going to reward it. And although it is quite a decent televote magnet song, it's going to be up against so many other televote magnet songs on the Saturday night. So I've got this qualifying probably fairly easily. Like I say, it's just such a fun, colourful staging, and not colourful in a horrible way, which can sometimes happen, which we might talk about later. But this one, I think it works really well. Not sure about the theme of the song, but there we go. I think Australia are a certain qualifier. And that leads us on to second in the running order, which is obviously the worst slot to perform from, the coffin slot. We've got Montenegro, and they look like a non-qualifier, really. The odds don't really favour them to qualify. And it's a simply staged song, but it's staged really quite nicely. There's not really enough allied countries in this semi-final that's really going to help them, and I think they really need that to qualify. Obviously, a couple of their most notable allies are either in the first semi-final or not performing this year. It's more of a song that would do well with juries as well, and not really the televote. So this is one of those songs that would probably benefit from a jury. I still think it'd be a tall order for it to qualify with one, but it's probably not really got a chance with a televote only. So this is my first non-qualifier, I think, Montenegro. Then we've got Ireland, and they're not being helped by the draw either. Third is not a good spot to perform from, and this song is, obviously, most people know it's a song about the dog that was sent into space by Russia in the 1950s, I believe. And it's a Norwegian singer. So that's who's representing Ireland this year. It sounds like an Alice DJ B-side from like the late 1990s. It's just like a Eurodance kind of number that, for me, it's just... I don't see how many people would like pick up the phone for this. It's just kind of an ordinary song that just isn't going to be a favourite. I just don't think it's a very good song personally. I think the genre is tired and doesn't really work at Eurovision. And although it's performed quite well, the staging, I mean, it's so busy. There's colours everywhere, and then I just don't enjoy the staging either. Personally, for me, I think this is a non-qualifier. It is on the borderline of the odds, but for me, I'd have this out because there's so many other songs that I think are borderline, which are better than this and have voting allies. I know Ireland have the UK in this semi-final, but I don't really remember the UK particularly voting that highly for Ireland in the past anyway. So for me, Ireland are just going to miss out. Next in the running order, we have Latvia. I mean, straight after Ireland, this just like is very different. Latvia are also going to benefit from having quite a friendly vote, lots of friends in this semi-final to get some votes, which is going to be key really for some of the songs that are really borderline. We saw Latvia last year as well qualify with a much less fancied song, so they do have a decent-ish qualifying record, Latvia, and it also benefits coming straight after Ireland. Like, this has a lot of quality compared to Ireland, and I think more people would... I mean, it's very different, but I think people will enjoy this kind of different song more than the recycled Irish sound that you're going to hear beforehand. So I think Latvia have got a good position here to potentially qualify. They are again an outsider to qualify. So they're on the borderline, and I'd probably say they have a better chance than not to qualify. They're not one of my definite qualifiers, but I think they're right on that edge. Then next we've got Armenia. I think Armenia definitely qualify. This song is quite a bit of it drew a lot of comparisons to Norway in the run up to the contest. For obvious reasons, they both kind of staged it similar, but Armenia have like changed the staging a little bit for the contest now. I think it looks really good. He certainly performs the vocals really well. He's really good on the stage. I just think that this is like a definite qualifier. Armenia also have a great record of qualifying, and they do tend to do well with the international televote points that you get as well. So they've almost got an extra country batting for them there, but I don't think they'll get the maximum from that, but they'll pick up some international points for sure. So for me, Armenia, again, a good value qualifying bet, and I think they're through. Next up, we've got Austria. I don't think there's much for me to say about this. We've only seen a very small clip of the performance, and really like the key part of this performance is going to be the second half of it. This is easily qualifying, so I don't really need to spend too much time talking about that. It's more of how it's going to do in the final, which we'll reflect after we've seen this performance, I think. But for me, at the moment, it's not giving me winning vibes, but I really need to see that performance on stage. But yeah, obviously qualifying. Probably doesn't win this semi-final because I don't think it's a strong enough televote song. I think we'll speak about those later on towards the end of the semi-final. But moving on next, we've got Greece, and this is a really good song again, and she's got a great voice and she performs it really well. The only issue is the staging of this song is not done well at all. It's this. She's just alone on the stage, which is fine because she's like a female solo vocalist. But there's so many long shots, and when you have a lot of long shots with somebody just isolated on the stage with all these graphics going on around them, they just look alone on that stage. And there's all these graphics going on. They just don't seem relevant to the song at all. I don't understand what all of them are being thrown at the song for. It's such a powerfully well-sung song that a simple staging would probably be way more effective than all these things that are being thrown at it. It's not televote friendly either, and I don't think it's a call of arms vote for the Greek diaspora. We saw last year they came out and voted quite happily for their artist Maria, but this year I don't see that there's going to be that much of that. They don't really have a lot of allies in this semi-final either. Although they're really favoured to qualify, Greece could be a shock non-qualifier here. Like, I'd expect on song quality that it will get through, but I would not be surprised if it didn't. I wouldn't be placing any bets on it to qualify, let's put it that way. There's a few question marks. Song quality should be enough, but the staging isn't good, and it's not a televote friendly song, and there's a lot of songs in this semi-final which are televote friendly. Up next we have Lithuania, and Lithuania have a great qualifying record in the past, largely due to their spread out diaspora around Europe who tend to always vote for them. And two of the largest countries which give them big points is the UK and Ireland, which are both voting in this semi-final. I think song quality alone anyway, I would put Lithuania through. The fact that they've got so many friendly votes, they've got Latvia there as well. I just don't see a world where Lithuania don't qualify here. There's actually a bit of value in the qualifying price at about 1 to 4. That's a very small price, I admit, but you could multiply it up at, say, Paddy Power with another one you fancy for a bit to add some extra value. For me, I don't see how Lithuania doesn't qualify in this semi-final. The song is quite different. It's a very moody kind of indie, kind of rock, kind of electro type. I don't really trying to describe what the song is like, but I actually quite like the song as well. I think it is very different to everything else in this semi-final. So easy qualifier for Lithuania, definitely through. Then we have Malta, again, one of the big favourites to qualify due to the performance, and there was obviously the controversy leading up to the contest about what the song was called and what they were going to say, and obviously they can't perform the song with that serving cant is what they were going to be singing, but that's not going to be allowed anymore. They're just going to blank it out. So that was made all the news. Obviously, people are speculating whether if they just go ahead and sing it like that anyway if they got to the final. The song-wise, I mean, it's a bit of a shouty kind of thing that, I mean, it's probably going to qualify for the final, but I don't really see how it's going to do anything in the final. It's not sung that well. The staging is really busy. Like, there's so many graphics going on, and you can either take one look at it and say this graphics in the background are brilliant, or you can just say it's just really detracting and distracting. Almost similar to how the UK had a couple of years ago with all that graphics in the background. You think it looks cool, but then in reality, it's just a bit messy. But so it's definitely probably enough to qualify. Really, I'd think this would be a massive shock if it doesn't qualify. But I don't think I can't see it doing much in the final anyway. And next up we have Georgia, and this is one of the favourites not to qualify again. I can't remember the last time Georgia did qualify actually. But the other vocals are okay in this song, but they're not really strong enough, and the song itself is not particularly strong either. You'll listen to this song, and I'm going to compare it a bit to Portugal. You just think like, okay, that was okay. There was nothing to hook you in. There was nothing really going on there. It's a good effort from Georgia. I really hope they keep coming back and try and send some more quality acts in future, because the more countries we have involved in Eurovision, the better the competition is going to be. But I think this one is just a bit too... I think they had to really rush, and this was posted really late. So you can kind of tell it's a definite non-qualifier for me. Okay, next up we've got Denmark, and they really have a poor qualifying record of late. And this year, it's going to be quite tough for them again. There's no Scandinavian countries to help. Like, normally you'd get one or two that can give them guaranteed points, but you look at the countries in this semi-final and none of them look like they're going to give any guaranteed points to Denmark, which could really hurt their chances in this semi-final. The song itself, it's a really well upbeat song that's fun to listen to. It's performed really well. It's just that it comes across similar to other songs in this semi-final, but just not as good. I don't really want to compare it to Malta, but these big female, strongly sung pop songs, and it just doesn't. It's not really on the same level as some of the others. I'm not saying it's not going to qualify though. I could easily see this qualifying. It's a banging song near the end of the draw, so it's going to have a chance just purely on that. I just find it's probably borderline, and I'm probably going to have it on the outside but I wouldn't be surprised if its name is called. Next up we have Czechia, and this song was actually really well thought of building up to the competition, and it's probably for me one of the biggest disappointments since the rehearsals have started. Like, the rehearsal shots and clips I've seen, it's kind of disappointing. The staging looks kind of like dull, and really his vocals and his singing and the performance is going to be the thing that holds this song together, because the staging isn't helping, and the song itself is... I originally thought it was quite a good song, but when you on re-listen, it's just not doing a lot. It's quite an ordinary low-key song, so his performance is really going to have to drag this song through. Now, I can see it probably doing so, but I'm putting it on a borderline qualifier. Now, it's quite short odds to qualify, but some of these short odds qualifiers in this semi-final are not going to qualify. There's going to be a couple of surprises. We've seen that in the first semi-final. We've seen that in years past. The 10 that you expect to qualify and the odds expect to qualify, that's just never the 10 that do qualify. So Czechia could be a shock non-qualifier for me. I just feel the staging and the song just isn't really there, and Czechia don't really have any allies to speak of. Yes, they're surrounded by a lot of countries that will be voting in this, but they've never really got allied points from them. They can't expect some favourable votes from neighbouring countries. So I'm going to say Czechia. I'm going to say it's going to be a non-qualifier. Next up, we've got Luxembourg, who get a late kind of draw slot again after last year closing off the semi-final, which they probably didn't need to qualify. They got a lot of points last year. Whereas this year, I think they might struggle a bit more. Now, it's a very nice pop song they're sending this year. Well, it's not so different to last year's, and it does sound very Eurovision-y, the kind of song that they're sending. But the staging really looks really good. I think the staging is really helping this song, and the performer, she really does sell the song really well. I think it's a great performance, and the staging is working. It's an average song, but I think it might be enough to get through. They're going to be helped by having a couple of decentist allies in this semi-final as well. Like, they've got France to help them. I'm sure they'll give them some points. And it's a kind of pop song that should pick up a few points from a number of countries, because it's quite a nice song and a good pop song. And it's near the bottom of the order. Again, it's borderline. Does it qualify? I'm going to say yes, it does, ahead of Czechia. And then next up, we have the polarising Israel. Now, I'm not going to say too much about this because it is going to qualify. So there's not much point me spending too much time talking about it. It's a very well-sung song. It's better than the one they sent last year. It's got good staging. It's a good song. It's a really good performance. So will it win the semi-final? Probably. It just depends on if we get that same level of Israeli vote that we saw last year. If we get the same vote that they got last year, then this will win the semi-final. But if there's a more lesser vote, then obviously this will just finish in the middle of the pack, and we're probably going to see somebody else win this semi-final. But on to the next one, because Israel are definitely in the final. And that next one is Serbia. Now, I was quite eager to see a bit more of the Serbian performance in the rehearsal clips. We've only seen that short clip, which seemed okay, but I get from the feeling that people in the press centre that have seen it, they're not been that impressed with this song. Now, running up to the competition, I thought this was a really nice song and it was going to be performed really well, but I'm unsure now, and some of the numbers it's done, like the poll results and the streaming data, suggests this is a non-qualifier, and I have it on the borderline. I actually want to say it's going to qualify because I like the song and I think the performance could really elevate it. But I haven't seen the performance yet. I've only seen the 30-second clip, which didn't show me enough of what it's going to be like. He's going to sing it well. So, and Serbia do have some friendly votes coming for them in this semi-final. So I'm going to say, yes, they do qualify. Certainly ahead of a song from, like, say, Ireland. So Serbia, you're into the final. I'm going to stick my neck out. And rounding off the semi-final, we have the iconic Finland. Now, the staging is kind of similar to the national final. Well, I mean, you can't get much too different, really. She's going to be walking up and down that catwalk, screaming out this song. Brilliant. This is such a stage-filling song. It's just how to stage a song like this. It's just brilliant. Now, obviously, I've only seen the 30-second clip, but we've seen how this is going to look. From what we've seen, I mean, we've seen the national final as well, so we get an idea. She just knows how to control the stage, how to capture all the cameras. Just a really good performance of a song that's just a real banger, and it's gonna get a lot of votes. Will this win this semi-final? If Israel fails to get the votes that it did last year, then this wins the semi-final. I don't think there's much else that can compete with it. I think we'll get more votes than Austria, especially with Austria at the beginning of the semi-final. This closing it off is a perfect song to close off, and it's also going to garner a lot more votes. So for me, it's probably my value pick to win the semi-final, because even with the Israeli votes turning up, this could push it anyway, because this is such a strong song. So for the value, I'll go for Finland to win the semi-final. The top three are going to be Israel, Finland, and Austria. So that means qualifying will have Australia 1. Sorry, I'm going to need to look at my notes to get through. 1 is Australia, 2 is Latvia, 3 is Armenia, 4 is Austria, 5 is Lithuania, 6 is Malta, 7 Israel, 8 Serbia, 9 Finland, and that last spot, it could go to a few countries, but I'm going to put Luxembourg in there, but I'm probably wrong on the Luxembourg pick, and I think maybe it is Greece or Denmark, probably. I don't know. It's so hard, this semi-final. There's so many variables to throw in there. Apart from two songs that of Georgia and Montenegro, I think really anybody else could qualify. It wouldn't be. I don't think it's going to be a shock if any other country qualifies, and any apart from like the top 5 don't qualify. So there we have it. That is my prediction for semi-final 2. What do you think? And what are your predictions? I hope you could join me next time when we have a bit of a reflection on semi-final 2, and that'll be before we do our final video for the final, and just drop down. And in that final, I'll hopefully have some decent bets for the final for us.